You lie in bed exhausted. Your body wants to sleep, but your mind starts working as if it were midnight inside your head. Thoughts that won't stop, conversations that have already happened, problems that haven't even occurred yet. And the more you try to sleep, the faster your mind races. But why does this happen? What does psychology reveal about people who overthink before bed? And, most importantly, how do you break this silent cycle that steals your peace and energy? Stay with me until the end, because today you're going to understand what's behind this mental pattern, and you're going to learn simple strategies that can completely change the way you sleep and live. Subscribe to the channel now so you don't miss content that helps you master your mind, reduce anxiety, and live with more emotional clarity. Night falls, bringing with it a silence that should bring peace, but for millions of people around the world, this moment transforms into a stage where thoughts dance endlessly, like actors who refuse to leave the set even after the curtains should have closed. It is at this instant, when the head finally touches the pillow and the eyes close, that the mind decides to do the exact opposite of what the body so desperately needs. It accelerates, it questions, it relives, it anticipates, and it tortures with surgical precision every moment of the day that has passed and every possibility of the day that has not yet arrived. Overthinking before bed isn't just an inconvenient habit or a personality quirk that can be easily dismissed. It's a profound psychological phenomenon that reveals much about how we function, about our most primal fears, about our unmet emotional needs, and about how our brain deals with the vulnerability that night naturally imposes. When we're awake during the day, busy with tasks, conversations, and constant visual and auditory stimuli, our mind has somewhere to anchor itself. There's an external flow of information that keeps our focus directed outward. But when night falls and the world around us falls silent, when there's nothing external left to capture our attention, the mind turns inward, and that's when inner chaos often manifests. Psychology teaches us that this process of mental rumination, as it is technically called, is not random. It follows specific patterns and serves evolutionary purposes that go back to our most distant ancestors. Our ancestors needed to be constantly alert to threats, planning for the next day, reviewing mistakes that could cost them their lives, anticipating dangers that might arise in the darkness. This state of hypervigilance was a matter of survival. The problem is that our brains still carry these ancient circuits, these primitive programs, but now apply them to threats that are not saber-toothed tigers or rival tribes, but rather misinterpreted conversations, work deadlines, complicated relationships, and the constant feeling that we are not doing enough. When you lie in bed and start thinking about that conversation you had in the morning, going over every word, every facial expression, every meaningful pause, you're not just being neurotic or overly sensitive. You're actually trying to process complex social information, looking for clues about how you're perceived by others, trying to reassure yourself that you belong to the group, that you're not being rejected or excluded. This need for social approval is also evolutionary. Our ancestors who were expelled from the group had far less chance of survival, so your brain treats every ambiguous social interaction as a potential threat to your safety, and at night, when there are no more distractions, it returns to those moments repeatedly, trying to find meaning, trying to protect itself. Nighttime is when our psychological defenses naturally lower. During the day, we manage to maintain social masks, play roles, follow routines that give us structure and purpose. But when everything stops and we are alone with ourselves, these masks begin to fall, and what lies beneath begins to emerge. For many people, this is terrifying. Then the mind stays busy, keeps itself in constant motion, creating an internal noise that prevents anything real, anything vulnerable, anything authentic from being felt or processed. The interesting thing is that this type of nighttime thinking rarely leads to productive insights or real solutions. It's a type of thinking that goes in circles, reliving the same scenarios repeatedly without resolution. Psychologists call this unproductive rumination, unlike genuine reflection, which is intentional, time-limited, and solution-oriented. Rumination is passive, compulsive, and self-perpetuating. The more you ruminate, the more anxious you become, and the more anxious you become, the more your mind seeks things to worry about, creating a vicious cycle that can steal precious hours of sleep and leave you exhausted before the day even begins. But perhaps the most poignant aspect of this experience is the solitude it carries. When you're lying in the dark, overthinking, there's a profound sense of being alone with your thoughts, trapped in a parallel reality that no one else can access or fully understand. You can be next to someone you love, but still feel completely isolated, because this internal battle is yours and yours alone. No one else can see the movie playing in your head. No one else can hear the volume of your thoughts. No one else can feel the weight of the anxiety pressing on your chest. And yet, paradoxically, this experience is universally shared. Millions of people around the world at this very moment are going through the same thing. They are lying in their beds, staring into the darkness, overthinking, over-worrying, over-feeling. There's a strange comfort in knowing this, in recognizing that you are not alone in this struggle, even when you feel completely isolated. We all carry our own night monsters, our own fears that seem bigger when the sun goes down, our own unanswered questions that relentlessly return when we close our eyes. The solution to this pattern isn't simple, because there is no single approach that works for everyone. But understanding the psychology behind this behavior is already a powerful first step. Recognizing that your mind isn't trying to sabotage you, but rather trying to protect you, can completely change your relationship with these nightly thoughts. Your brain is doing what it was programmed to do thousands of years ago: keep you safe, help you belong, prepare you for threats. The problem is that it's using old tools for modern problems, and this creates a mismatch, an internal friction that manifests as anxiety and insomnia. In the end, overthinking before bed is an invitation to get to know ourselves more deeply, to understand our fears, our needs, our patterns. It's a sign that something within us needs attention, care, understanding. And perhaps, just perhaps, when we learn to listen to these nightly thoughts, not as enemies, but as imperfect messengers trying to guide us towards healing, we can finally find the peace we so desperately seek when our heads touch the pillow and our eyes close for another night. If you also lie in bed, turn off the light, and your mind just won't stop, comment below, "My mind won't shut off." I want to know, what goes through your mind most before you go to sleep? Worries, regrets, plans, or fears? Your comment can help other people who are going through the same thing. If this content resonated with you, subscribe to the channel. Here you'll find videos that help you understand the mind, manage anxiety, and live with more emotional clarity. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next videos. Your mental rest starts with knowledge.